Life Field broke ground 34 months ago. A ceremonial pitch from two Rangers legends initiated countless hours of construction on a brand new state-of-the-art venue, complete with a retractable roof, controlled climate, and a pristine playing surface. And tonight we get our first look at the immaculate Globe Life Field. The Rangers hosting the Rockies for a couple of exhibition games before the start of the regular season. Well, welcome inside, everybody. It is really a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm Dave Raymond, standing about as close as I ever want to be to CJ Nitkowski. And tonight, it will be our first official look inside this great ballpark. Maybe a little later than we had wanted, CJ, but all the reviews so far have been glowing.
Oh, the ballpark is absolutely gorgeous. We cannot wait for fans to get here and to see this thing in person. In the meantime, we'll show it to you, though, through the magic of television. But it is gorgeous. The playing surface, I think, is something that is worth keeping an eye on. The players have talked about how fast that infield the defense, Chris Woodward talked about how that is going to be so important this year. And then home runs. Everybody's so used to seeing so many home runs from these Rangers hitters. So far, this ballpark has been playing pretty big. Guys like Joey Gallo, Rougned Odor, maybe not loving that part just yet.
Yeah, but you know who does love that? That would be the pitchers on this staff. And for the first time in really just about anybody's memory, this is a Rangers team built on starting pitching.
And it's exciting. This offseason was a good one for the Rangers, bringing in Corey Kluber via trade from the Cleveland Indians, Kyle Gibson and Jordan Lyles through free agency. You pair those guys with what you see at the top of the rotation, and Rangers fans saw it firsthand last year with Lance Lynn and Mike Minor and how solid they were at the top. Lance Lynn will get the starting nod in opening day this year, but this team, like you said, Dave, for the first time in a long time is really expecting to rely on a solid 1 through 5 starting pitching staff. Tonight we're going to see the 4-starter in that rotation. Kyle Gibson, the big right-hander, had spent his entire career with the Minnesota Twins. Now, there were some struggles last year, but a lot of that had to do with health and not arm health, and he seems to have put those things behind him right now, and the Rangers expecting big things. They have done so well in free agency the last couple of years with Mike Minor, Lance Lynn. When it came to that starting pitching, they are expecting Kyle Gibson to follow their lead.
Well, if he does, they are in great shape. Meanwhile, so many incredibly interesting things to learn about this brand new ballpark, and we're excited, just like you, to learn them. Emily Jones has picked out one feature for us. How about the roof? We'll check in with her when we come back.
Welcome back to Globe Life Field, the first of 2 exhibition games between the Rangers and the Rockies coming your way, and we've got tons to show you in this brand spanking new ballpark. And perhaps the one most intriguing is the one that is above us. That is the 5.5-acre retractable roof. It is the largest single-panel operable roof in the world. It weighs 24 million pounds. It can open and shut in 10 minutes with the push of a button by Chris Woodward, just kidding, by a roof operator. Also 4 guys overseeing things along the way to make sure everything runs smoothly. But most importantly, guys, it is giving us 72 degrees in the middle of July, and I, for one, could not be happier.
Yeah, it works pretty well. The concept was great. The execution so far, spectacular.
Instant good mood. I think it just changes everything. We're used to being here in July, and it's absolutely smoking on the field, in the booth. Good decision to go with the roof here at the new ballpark.
So, meanwhile, 3 misses to start things tonight for Kyle Gibson. David Dahl leading things off for the Rockies after a real nice 2019 for Dahl. As a start in center field this evening. And for Gibson, not the way he wanted to get this one started. Let's take a look at the rest of that Rockies lineup. Dahl reaches via the walk. Now Trevor Story, the local kid, followed by Charlie Blackmon in right. Nolan Arenado at third base. Daniel Murphy at first. McMahon at second base. Tapia the DH. Sam Hilliard, also a local product, in left field today. And Tony Wolters doing the catching. Story mentioned from nearby Irving, and what a fantastic beginning to this young man's career. You see, last year, in just 145 games, still hit the 35 home runs. And OPS, on base plus slugging, easily in excess of 900. And he'll take another strike. So Gibson comes right back after struggling with David Dahl and jumps ahead of Trevor Story 0-2.
And much to do the delight of the crowd here. Yeah. Nice little bounce back early on here for Kyle Gibson as he finishes up his summer camp.
You're okay with that?
Well, it's the
summer
official
camp thing.
It's the official title, Dave. So, me being a guy who likes the color in between the lines, that's what we're going to call it. Summer camp.
Okay.
You want to make up your own name?
Well, I mean, I could if that's an invitation.
You a spring training part due kind of guy?
I didn't know what else to call it. I thought summer camp was okay, but I know it has been met with some resistance. In particular here, the 1-2. Ooh, a little tight.
Yeah, Chris Woodward didn't seem to love it.
No.
In one of our meetings that we had, and didn't love the idea that we would call it summer camp, but I've been okay with it. I think it brings back some memories of the good old days.
Yeah.
S'mores, campfires, bug bites, maybe a rash.
Well, a 2-2 pitch to Trevor Story, and he'll stay alive. You know, there's still games that I was thinking about this earlier today. These games don't count. They don't mean anything. And yet, I read in the notes today, one of the first things I saw was these games count toward the spring training records for 2020. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, well, that changes things a little bit. The Rangers were 12-8 when we left Arizona, and Story shoots this one down the line but foul.
So I think what will be fun for us over these first few games, this is obviously our first official television game, but thinking about balls hitting the ballpark in different spots. Remember last year how many balls we saw hit down that right field line that kind of went into that second, third deck?
Yeah. That
seemed to go further and further. And what areas of the ballpark will players be able to reach? Certainly Joey Gallo is one of those guys that we'll talk about a lot as you see the right field corner, 326 down the line. And you see those little kind of notches there as well along that wall. There will be a couple of funky bounces here at Globe Life Field.
2-2. Fastball misses a little bit low. Early on, a lot of pitches here for Kyle Gibson. The 4-pitch walk to David Dahl, and now Story making him work a little bit. Gibson, 32 years old. Big guy, 6'6", 215 pounds, and Story lifts his payoff offering into left field. Chu seems to have a read on it. One away.
So it gives us an opportunity now to get to the TXU pitch arsenal for Kyle Gibson. As you mentioned, this right-hander from the Minnesota Twins. This is what we saw from him last year. Lots of two-seam fastballs, 32% of the time. Slider's a go-to pitch for him as well, but pretty even distribution when you start talking about the changeup, the curveball, all of those off-speed pitches. And for Kyle Gibson, the two-seam fastball, you see the high usage. Last year, a 62% ground ball rate. Now, the average ground ball rate in Major League Baseball is 44%. 62% on that pitch. That's something we'll keep an eye on this year with the faster infield surface, how important it's going to be for the Rangers to get their defenders in the best positions they can behind Kyle Gibson to make sure that they're turning those ground balls into outs.
Well, Rangers put a little shift on with Charlie Blackmon in the box. Blackmon, a left-handed hitter with great power, and loaded a little bit heavier on that right side. But of course you want to keep that double play in order with Dahl at first base. Finds the inside corner. Now Blackmon off another big season with the Rockies. And today getting the start in right field. Again, some attention paid on David Dahl Blackmon in recent years, I mentioned the 32 home runs last season. Previous 3 seasons, 29, 37, and 29 home runs. That one's tight.
So he's got that thing around his neck. It's got to be hard to get that over the beard, right? It's a face covering for when he gets on base, I would assume.
It seems like that's been the go-to for a lot of guys, those balaclavas that they can manipulate whenever they have to, and then otherwise just sort of hang around the neck. But yeah, when you've got that big, big beard going, yuck.
It's squishing a lot of facial hair underneath that thing.
Fans getting into it here in the first inning.
As they should. Exciting moment here.
Not a huge lead for Dahl. Blackmon hammers that one just foul.
Charlie Blackmon took a long look at this one, thinking that it was probably fair, but coming off that left-handed bat, you pull that ball hard, it's always going to be a little bit of hook to it. Take a look at this pitch here from Kyle Gibson. Looks like the four-seam fastball. You see the grip right to the glove, exactly where Robinson Chirinos wanted it. The previous fastball was up and in, kind of off the plate a little bit. Maybe going there one too many times, or at least in the case of Charlie Blackmon, maybe sitting on that pitch, but not an easy pitch to keep fair.
And Gibson ahead 1-2. And just misses that inside corner. Love the view, by the way. We get a great angle from straightaway center field, so you get a much better feel for where a pitch does miss, if it does.
Not only that, for me, and I know so for some fans this will be an adjustment, but you're going to get a really good look at pitch movement. I love this view. I always have. I'm glad that the Rangers decided to go with it.
In the air. Left field. Again, Chu. Plenty of time to get over to it. We have 2 out.
So the scoreboard here in right field, definitely one of the cool features at Globe Life Field. It is humongous. And today Todd Frazier talked about the idea that he felt like it was almost hanging over the ballpark in right field, and you feel like maybe Joey Gallo could hit it. Now we'll see. I don't know if he can really get there, but Todd Frazier said he's interested to see if any of our guys can hit a ball. I mean, that is really high. I don't know if it, I don't think anybody can hit it. What do you think?
No. I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
It's 6 feet inside the fence line, so it is technically in fair territory, but that would take a Herculean blast or a Titleist.
Now, you think you can get it there?
Yeah,
With
there's no
home
doubt.
plate, what club for you to get it there?
Oh, I mean, 9 iron.
No chance.
For the plate? Yeah.
So, no. So that's at that point, you're 150 feet or 150 yards, right? No, that's wrong.
Feet, it's 30 yards, right?
What?
No, 150 feet is 50 yards.
It's about 300 feet or so. You said 6 feet in. Maybe it's what? At that point, you're talking about 340, right? As far as 340 feet to the gap, about where that scoreboard is. So we're talking like 112 yards, 113 yards at its peak.
Well, why do I have to get at the peak? Maybe my peak goes over the top of that bad boy.
No chance. It's too bad we can't try, because I'm sure you'd break something if you did get it there. And forget about replacing the sign. I can't afford the G.
0-2. Outside, Dahl sneaking away a little bit, but Chirinos keeping him honest.
So Robinson Chirinos has decided, as you see there, to wear the mask under his catching helmet, which you would think would be a lot, but that was a decision that he made. That is not required by Major League Baseball. I just felt like that was something he was comfortable doing, that he wanted to do.
Arenado lofts this one. Foul territory left side. Kiner Falefa stays right with it, and the inning is done. So Dahl with the leadoff walk, but nothing doing for the Rockies. And now the Rangers come to bat.
It is beyond the bright lights, in the dirt of the field, in the grain of the hardwood, and in the frost of the ice, where the game reveals the very best within us, where we find strength in ourselves and others, where the challenges we face become the building blocks of our character. This is more than a game. This is where we stand on the shoulders of our heroes, and we believe.
America, we want to help get you back to it. And here's how, with the Ford Promise. Visit your Ford dealer. Finance a new, certified pre-owned or used vehicle through Ford Credit, and if you lose your job, you can return it for up to 1 year from the day you bought it. You can also get 0% APR financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Let us help get you back to it. Get 0% APR for 72 months on a new F-150 at your Texas Ford dealer. Ford, built for Texas, built for you.
Sexy for my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York.
Sometimes you run out of fresh at the wrong time. Luckily, Kroger Delivery and free pickup make it easy to grab what you need, so you can get back to being you. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Well, it's not a home game for the Rangers unless there's a Pudge sighting. Normally behind home plate and those wonderful seats across the street. But today, outside the southwest entrance, the Pudge statue. A lot of good historical artifacts and the occasional homage to some of the Rangers history inside, outside the ballpark.
Pretty serious look there from Pudge. She was locked in to thinking about. I was thinking with that face, like, do I want to go into pizza or coffee? But you know what? I'm going to do both when I'm done playing. I'll do both of those things.
Dominate those as well. Why not? Well, we are set to go now in the bottom of the first. A scoreless top half for the Rockies. And Shin-Soo Choo will lead things off. Veteran left-handed hitter. Take a look at the rest of the lineup for the Rangers. After Choo, it'll be Elvis Andrus, Santana, Gallo, and Odor right there in the middle. Frazier, Todd Frazier at first. Chirinos, Nick Solak, and Isaiah Kiner Falefa to round out things tonight for the Rangers.
What a year it was last year for Shin-Soo Choo. 24 home runs for him. Career high. It'll be interesting to see, as we have seen over the last few years, really, where guys even later in their careers are setting career bests. But now to come into this ballpark, what's the effect going to be on a guy like Choo? We don't think it'll be that big of a deal, say for Joey Gallo, any ballpark, right? He doesn't hit cheap home runs or even close home runs. But Choo may be a guy. See his numbers get affected a little bit.
2-2 the count. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many fly balls die out on the warning track this season for either team. It does feel big in the very little bit that we have seen in the park. Full count now. And Choo doing what he is so good at doing and has done his entire career, working counts and oftentimes finding his way on. Not picky about how he does it either. Career on base of nearly 380, and that one lined out into left field. Sam Hilliard, nice job to reel that one in. Now Elvis. And Elvis going to wear the balaclava during the at-bat.
Well, listen, I think for guys that are used to wearing those in the cold weather, I think about when the Rangers are on the road in April and even to September sometimes, but places like Chicago, going to New York, you know how cold it can be. And we've seen a lot of players that will wear those, especially when they're in the infield, but really cold days hitting. So there's a comfort level there, I guess. But now we just took it down.
Yeah.
So that was just to get there, you think?
Yeah, I guess, I really do think we'll be feeling this process out for weeks. And guys we saw Chirinos with the mask on, under the mask tonight, and that may change. Umpires doing their best to do their part and keep their germs to themselves. Woody going with, making a statement with his. 0-2 to Elvis. That's tight.
So how many guys do you think, because of the habits, right? You see Woody with the Texas Rangers face mask. But we talk about the bad habits. Some of those habits that have to be broken, right? That MLB protocols, no spitting on the field, sunflower seeds, those kinds of things. How many guys do you think have spit into their mask already? It's happened.
No, very
few. You think so?
No. I think the mask is great for that purpose, right? If indeed the goal is to cut down on that, I think it would be an easy reminder not to.
I think it's happened.
Well, probably.
It's just such a habit. It's a terrible habit, but it is a habit.
This one lined into right field. Andrews aboard with the game's first hit.
Well, certainly one of the things that Elvis Andrews does so well, we talk about it all the time with him, and that's using the entire field. Good look at the four-seam grip on his fastball, and a pretty good pitch at his middle away and down. But you see that swing as Elvis just keeps his head short, head on the ball, swing short to the ball. Line drive to right field. The gaps here are big. We talk about it being big and what it's going to do to home runs. Elvis Andrews probably will be a guy who benefits. I think Chew to that same extent with the line drives that they hit, with the quick turf, and a lot of those balls will be rolling to the wall. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see where this team ranks and this ballpark ranks. I know it's obviously not a full season, but with triples this year. We may see a pretty good amount of triples here at Globe Life Field.
Elvis on, and let's see if he puts a little pressure on Ashton Goudeau, tonight's starter for the Rockies. Santana puts that one in the seats, and it's 0-2. There's Goudeau, his first big league spring training this year, signed as a minor league free agent.
You see the numbers at Double-A last year. Good opportunity here. Good numbers for him as well, especially when you take a peek at the strikeout to walk ratio over those 78 and third innings. The curveball is supposed to be the best secondary pitch. I haven't seen Goudeau throw before, but it's fastball, changeup, curveball. But it's the big breaking ball that seems to be kind of the calling card for this right-hander.
Oh, buries that one, 1-2. Danny Santana, you talk about home run numbers, power numbers, how will they be affected in this ballpark? Santana just took the world by storm last year. One of the great stories for the Rangers last season, the 28 home runs seemingly out of nowhere. And they're hoping that it wasn't just a mirage, that it's the type of thing he could repeat again this season, albeit in a much bigger ballpark. Hey, look at those numbers last year versus his first 5 seasons.
Now, he certainly figured out to Danny Santana, and so important to what the Rangers did last year and having him really emerge, and then also for the planning this offseason. And thinking about what he did coming in here, not with an opportunity to start the season in the big leagues, but man, was he impactful.
All right, chases strike 3 and is the second out of the inning.
All right, so I got a text message from a broadcaster who said they have already spit into their mask. So, if you were to guess, which broadcaster spit into his mask already?
How is Hudler doing?
Nope, that's a good guess, though.
Not right.
Rex Hudler is a really good guess. I'll give you one hint because it's 2 outs. It is an American League West broadcaster. So awesome.
Well, you got me that one with the American Sparky.
No, that was a good guess though. Steve Sparks radio.
He would do it just to do it
for the Astros. Yeah, just for fun. Wasn't Kipe.
Gubazan?
No, not Gubazan. Mark Gubazan with the Angels. No.
Well, pretty much running out of.
What do you mean?
In our division?
Yeah.
Jeff Blum?
No. All the way West Coast. Probably one of the best personalities
Dallas did it. Okay.
in our industry, Dallas Braden. So if we go, I looked around, hopefully nobody saw me. I'm telling you it's going to happen. It's already happened.
Well, ball and a strike on Joey Gallo. Joey, in his first batting practice session here, was a little dismayed. 1-2. He left that BP session thinking, what have I got myself into? This thing's way too big. And then he found out later, well, they were old baseballs from like a year ago. They were a little deadened. They brought out some new balls the next time out. And he said, you know, it's all good. I'm fine. I'll be able to hit plenty of home runs here. Takes a little high, 2-2.
So I think for this year, for us, watching Joey Gallo, what we saw last year, basically the first half of the season, MVP caliber production. And one of the biggest things he did was he really cut down his chase rate, right? Without giving up power. That's not an easy thing to do. And so that's what we'll kind of keep an eye on this year. But you mentioned, you know, the ballpark and the playing big and maybe feeling better with the newer baseballs. You just don't want it to get in his head. Right, that's the one thing. You don't want any of these players thinking, do I have to swing harder if I want to hit home runs? Do I have to try to do more? You're going to get frustrated the first couple that fall in the track and are caught for outs and then change your approach. This coaching staff will tell you it's just so important that everything remains consistent. Don't change anything maybe because this ball is going to hold a few of those fly balls in the ballpark.
And payoff, and he lays off a close pitch for ball 4. And right to your point, he was so much more disciplined last year, and it led to maybe fewer swings in general, but much more productive. And he sets up Odor now in this first inning. Andrews at second, Gallo at first. The rookie's been one of the real bright spots for the Rangers in this summer camp, as he was at spring training. Last year was one of the more perplexing seasons you would witness. The 205 average, lowest, and yet 30 homers, better than 90 RBIs, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike.
I think the production obviously was there from a power standpoint, driving in runs. You saw his OPS. It was still a little bit below league average last year, but when you think about that lower batting average, the fact that he could make up OPS in other places, 721 as we showed you, the league average last year.
Just foul.
League average last year for OPS was 758 in the league. But look at this. I mean, you talk about some production in different spots and why those RBIs were there. Rougned Odor loved hitting with our scoring position last year. Got that OPS up over 1,000. Good batting average. So we got it done when it mattered most. And listen, we've gotten away from using batting average. Certainly teams have, evaluators have, as the go-to stat. We'll still absolutely talk about it. And guys want to see a high batting average, but it just doesn't always tell you that story that we thought it once did.
Well, the 0-2. Well, he lays off. I don't know that pitch right there would necessarily have been the type of situation where in past years he would chase. But 2 strikes, you know, he would get a little eager. And I think a lot of times pitchers felt like they could bait him with that breaking ball in the dirt. And I think even though like the batting average was a lot lower last year, I still think we saw good signs last year of him maybe just understanding the strike zone for himself a little bit better. It's this ball hard down to first, but handled cleanly by Daniel Murphy, and the inning is done. So the Rangers come up empty. Lots to learn about this ballpark. We're asking for some help from Emily Jones when we come back.
2, no score between the Rangers and the Rockies as we welcome you back inside Globe Life Field, the brand new Globe Life Field. So many things to show you, so many interesting aspects of this ballpark. This is one of the cooler ones. It appears that I'm floating out here in left field. This is a section called the bridge seats. There are 1,012 seats out here in 5 different sections where you can take in a game from left field. And
can you go get that ball, Emily?
I'm not allowed down there. That's tier 1 territory. I'm tier 3, as are you guys. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, pretty cool little. I think I like bridge seats, but I feel like let's workshop this. Maybe we could come up with something a little, a little more catchy. I mean, not that that's not catchy. It's bridge seats is fine, but I think we could maybe come up with a clever name. This is a fun thing for us to do during the next couple days. Just a thought.
What's your comfort level up there? Because I remember when the ballpark was under construction, that there were some conversations about how, it might not be for the faint of heart if you don't like heights, if you don't like feeling like you're suspended in the middle of the air, that you may not be comfortable in those seats. I think it's a little bit of a thrill factor. How does it feel up there?
Okay, so it's a great point you bring up. So I remember during construction of this, the one thing that I thought was it had so much of an arena feel, right? Like it's going up instead of going out. So it does make you feel closer to the action. But there is a little, I can't see anything below me except for the field, which is a little freaky.
Yeah.
You're not seeing any stands below you. Yeah, so, as you guys have found out over the years, I'm not a huge fan of heights. So this would not be my choice if I, got to pick where I would sit for a game. But I think it would be very cool for, like you say, the thrill seekers. And it's just a cool space,
And do you think anybody can get up there? We talked about the idea of long home runs. Like at some point, there'll be an all-star game here sooner than later.
Yeah.
Home run derby.
Dave's a 7-iron away, or what do you think?
Oh, I think I'd probably get there with a pitching wedge, probably from the plate. Yeah.
So in order to get it in that section, you would aim at the left field foul pole, right? And then it would have a chance to get there. Would be kind of the way that you'd play it.
Yeah, but it's a pretty cool little area. Guys, this place is phenomenal.
Well, that's also,
I must say,
that's also kind of a phrase for a home run. Is that you say sometimes the guy will say I went bridge.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the tie-in. Probably not, more because of the bridge effect when you're up there. But 2 birds, 1 stone.
Let me tell you something. If one comes up here, I'm not diving for it. I'm gonna stay back here on row 4 and be just fine.
So from our vantage point, Emily, from where we sit and we look out there, it looks like the stairs are pitched at a very steep angle up and down. So it's one thing to be elevated as you are over the top of seats that you can't see below you, but it looks like just walking up and down the stairs, pretty steep climb.
Yes, and there's a reason why I wore tennis shoes today. Because I knew I was going to be traversing the ballpark. And so, yeah, they're not like, it's not, you don't feel like you're in danger, for goodness sake, you guys.
Just be careful.
But but you definitely want to be careful. But the guardrail plenty high, everything's all good.
Yeah.
I feel plenty safe.
Good.
I wouldn't want to sit on the first row, though. I will tell you that whole illusion of like nothing under you.
Well, yeah, probably not someone who sits in the first row like on a roller coaster. That would not be the seat for you. If you are that person, that's your spot.
Right. I'm not getting on roller coasters. I don't even like planes, you guys. Come on.
Yeah, it looks awesome to me. I think it would be that might be one of my first places that I'd like to sit.
But I do think it will be it'll be a novelty. The bridge seats. But I really do think, I love the bridge seats. And CJ, I like you throwing in there. I went bridge, if somebody gets up here. But I don't know, maybe, I'm just saying, let's just sit on it for a little bit and see if we marinate, let it, bounce some ideas off of each other.
Well, it gets me excited for your visit up on the catwalk of that enormous roof.
No, that's not. John Radigan's going to be working soon, and so he would, I'm sure, relish that assignment.
Tapia, a little roller to second base. 2 gone. So Daniel Murphy with the home run this inning. The solo blast, and then, quite the celebration after it crossed the plate. I loved it. You could even pick up his voice. He was like, woo! Gave a high 10 to some phantom teammate. And so the Rockies have the early lead. And Sam Hilliard batting 8th today. And a young man from the area Hilliard from Mansfield, just down the road, and big year last year for him. He had a huge year at AAA, hit some 35 home runs, was called up, played in a couple dozen games with a big club, and was excellent. There's his family. There was an arrangement. It was brokered to get the family in, and they got a chance to see their son play here at home.
Yeah, it was one of the things I was thinking about for this year, and the idea that for a lot of young players, not really for every player, but that first time you make your way around the league and you get back to the big league stadium that is closest to your home, and having family come visit, leaving extra tickets, and all that is part of the big league experience. That might be gone this year for some guys.
Hilliard strikes out on 3 pitches, and the inning is done. But the Rockies get the home run by Murphy and have the early 1-0 lead.
Find your keys. Find your get up and go. Find pants that aren't sweats. Find your friends. Find your sense of wonder. Find the world is new again. At Chevy, we'd like to take you there. Now, during the Chevy Open Road Sales Event, get up to 15% of MSRP cash back on select 2020 models. That's over $5,700 cash back on this Equinox. It's time to find new roads again.
We've always seen challenges as opportunities to get better. That's why we're constantly evolving to provide the best care possible, empowering thousands to move better, to become families, and to never give up. Whenever you need us, we'll be ready, because nothing has ever stopped us from getting you back to better, and nothing ever will.
Rangers baseball is brought to you by Baylor's Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. Well, welcome back in. A chance today just to get a little look around this brand new ballpark, Globe Life Field, and it is spectacular. There are so many wonderful features and amenities inside here. We'll get to know it a little bit better over the course of the summer. Emily Jones roaming around today, giving us some input from the various vantage points. It is spectacular. So, you know, we came back from spring training, and there was a brief moment where things looked like they might be returning to normal a little bit. And I came down and I got literally the Gilligan 3-hour tour of the ballpark. Saw everything. And it was the most fascinating, incredible tour of a building that I've ever taken. I saw their little cells where if people get a little out of control, might need take a timeout. There's an area I got to go in there.
Do you remember the total number? Was it like 6 jail cells or something?
3 down there.
Okay.
Yeah, they can hold plenty.
For you and the skipper?
Yeah, that's right. Probably Marianne. Todd Frazier leading it off here. And hits this one straight up in the air. Testing the height of that roof. That is the first out of the inning.
So that'll be the other part of this, too. We wondered about the clearance of the roof. And we see it so many times, especially in some of the older indoor ballparks. Could a player actually hit the roof with a pop-up? That one wasn't even close.
No.
And they thought he hit it pretty high.
Right, and I mean, we'll see higher ones, but that's going to be it's going to be a challenge. I think the height that's very high.
Yeah.
How about that? 278 feet from field level to the top of the roof. Robinson Chirinos, and I'm going to make a little confession here. It's not the type of thing I'm real proud of. Is this one lined just foul? 0-2. I thought Robbie was like not going to be available maybe even on opening day.
Take a look at this line drive that Robinson Cano hit, and you can see the hook there. And we're going to be reliant on umpires where we are, our perch, who can't quite see exactly whether those hit fair or foul. But
Chirinos apparently he had the rolled ankle.
Yep.
I don't know what happened with Cano.
So many Robbies, so little time.
Outside and low, 1-2. That is so wrong of me, by the way. I owe you a buck.
No, it's not.
It's not cool.
No. I'd rather be corrected 100% every time. But obviously he's fine.
Yeah.
That's the good news. And the swing looked comfortable. And this was a really nice addition for the Rangers to be able to bring Robinson Chirinos back and welcome him back with open arms. And what was interesting listening to him talk about the ballpark, the idea after playing a year in Houston, and what a difference being inside made playing in Texas. I mean, he's one of the few that can really compare the two, a catcher playing in Texas heat as your home ballpark, and what a difference going from Globe Life Park for him in 2018 to Minute Maid Park in 2019. The big thing for him, he said, day games. Following day games and how good his body felt the day after a night game where he actually felt like he could catch a day game.
Yeah.
You would never do that to a catcher in July outside in Texas.
Unless he was Pudge.
Well, it's different. That's a different.
He's the only
different beast.
He was a unique animal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robbie, I think, caught a career high, like 106 games last year. Said he felt great. I'll tell you, it was when the Rangers got him back in the offseason, that was one of the more pleasant bits of news in the offseason, because he was a guy, when he left, it was just heartbreaking, and it was even worse when we had to go down to Houston, or Houston came up here to see him in an opposing uniform, and to get him back, that was a huge lift. Nick Solak now, and he smashes one on the ground towards second. A little bobble for a moment there, but McMahon takes care of him, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second for the Rangers. 2 innings in the books. Rockies with the 1-0 lead.
We believe everyone deserves better care, and getting that care is more important than ever. Right now, we're making thousands feel like new again, inspiring hope and courage, and empowering you to do what you couldn't do yesterday. Whenever you need us, we'll be ready, because nothing has ever stopped us from getting you back to better, and nothing ever will.
This month on Frontier.
NASCAR is live on FS1. The Cup Series, Xfinity Series,
2 laps to go,
and Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series, all live. Plus, get your daily NASCAR fix with Race Hub. NASCAR is live on FS1.
Enjoy Fox Sports 1 in HD on Channel 583. This month on Frontier.
I hope that you've signed on for some action because you're going to get it.
Walt, it's Vic. We got a dead body.
Let's go! Grab it, boys!
Win, lose, or draw, you're doing what you love.
I got a bad feeling we will.
Outdoor Channel. We're wild about adventure.
Enjoy Outdoor Channel on Channel 307.
Roll your sleeves up, Texas, to give blood. Fox Sports Southwest has teamed up with the American Red Cross for the Sinclair Cares Roll Up Your Sleeves campaign. If you're in good health, please make an appointment to donate blood at sinclaircares.com.
Daniel Murphy home run, the difference right now. You know, baseball is back. Fans not quite back yet, but we've got an idea to get you in a seat at a ballpark. Kind of. Send your Doppelranger. It's just $50 and a photo of yourself. We'll make a cardboard cutout, your Doppelranger. And we'll put it in a seat here at Globe Life Field. Proceeds benefit the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. All the instructions and more available online, texasrangers.com/Doppelrangers. Whoa, that guy literally is a Doppelranger of himself. You only need one.
So we'll be there. Did you fill out your paperwork?
Oh, that's right. I forgot to do my paperwork on that.
Well, it has to be in by July 15th. So
what's today?
The 21st. Yeah.
It's coming. Well, third inning here, and Troy Walters will start things off for the Rockies. 9th place hitter, and Kyle Gibson snaps one right in there for a strike. Fastball at 91 miles per hour. Walters, for me, might be one of the more underrated catchers in the game, or maybe underappreciated. Defensively, as good as anyone else you're going to find. Offensively, can be productive as well. I think, we're conditioned to talk about Yadier Molina, certainly. This ball hit hard, but foul.
Yeah, I think it's probably fair to say we have seen really a couple of guys emerge over these, say, last couple of seasons. Mitch Garver out in Minnesota, underappreciated to the point now. Remember, they were using 2 and sometimes 3 catchers in their rotation. Walters definitely one. I think Omar Narvaez was with the Mariners last year. Now with the Milwaukee Brewers, certainly a very good hitting catcher.
Walters gets on at a little bit better than league average. A little better than 33% of the time. Not a ton of pop, but two, and that breaking ball just missed.
Take a look at this breaking ball. No, we're not going to take a look at it. It was that down and in slider that you see from Kyle Gibson. He loves using that pitch against left-handed hitters.
In the air. Should be routine. Santana waiting. That is out number 1. Hey, time for a Chevy game break. Let's throw it to myself this afternoon. It was Kansas City and Houston. Yuli Gurriel, the fly ball to right with the bases loaded. Jose Altuve at the plate. And with that tumble, he ended up leaving the game with a left leg contusion. Contusion's always, that's one of those words that always gets my attention. It sounds awful, but it's a bruise.
Yeah. Well, it does sound worse than maybe it is, but I guess it depends on how deep the contusion is, right?
Yeah, I suppose it probably levels. But that didn't look like the type of thing that would cost him a whole lot of time. Dahl misses on the count 0-2.
Which brings up, I think, another interesting point about what the 2020 season is going to be, and the idea, there are certain things you wouldn't play through in April, right? So you know what? It's early in the season. Let's go ahead and put you on the 10-day IL, or let's give you a couple of days off. Well, in this season, every game is going to feel big, and a bad week could really damage a team. So the idea of falling behind is a real issue for clubs that they have to be worried about. We'll take a look at this pitch here. I mentioned Kyle Gibson loves using the breaking ball down and in. David Dahl nowhere near this pitch. Did not pick up the rotation or the spin. And then when he realized he had no chance at hitting it, he couldn't stop his swing. He missed that by almost 2 feet.
Yeah, funny night for David Dahl. The first at bat, he saw 4 pitches wide of the zone. Didn't take the bat off his shoulder. And this time strikes out on 3 pitches. Gibson, 2 quick outs. Now has to deal with Trevor Story. And a little tapper foul.
Ball had some really weird spin on it. Todd Frazier waited as long as he possibly could to touch that baseball. It came back a little bit, but did not get close to the foul line. That's what Trevor Story was looking down there and kind of making a face at him like, no way, that's not going to come back, is it? I'd say you can expect to see Todd Frazier at first base quite a bit this year for the Texas Rangers. I think at the very beginning of spring training, all the way back in February when we were in Arizona, that really wasn't the anticipation.
No.
The idea that Ronald Guzman and Greg Bird would compete to see who could win that first base job. But it was Isaiah Kiner-Falefa who really kind of messed everything up in a good way by having a great spring, great summer camp. So the Rangers look like they're going to give him the third base job.
Warner Hopper's second base. Odor in perfect position to complete a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Gibson. Nicely done. We head to the bottom of the third. Rockies on top 1-0.
This summer, let's bring back that great American tradition called the road trip. Because right now, it's even easier to get started with up to $1,500 trade assist cash, multiple IIHS top safety picks, and a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So come on, America. Let's get out there again. Let's road trip. Trade up to a new Kia and rediscover America in a car or SUV that's built right. And remember, that journey starts at your local Kia dealer.
TXU Energy understands that some days you just need a free pass. Free Pass gives you free electricity on the 7 days you use the most every month. Now with 2 extra free days a month all summer long.
Drop the beat! With TD Ameritrade, you've got courses, tools, and help from pros.
It's almost like you're training me to become an even smarter, stronger investor.
Exactly.
56 trade, come on! That's it. Left trade, right trade. Come on, another trade. I want to see it. Hard!
80s style training montage?
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Get ready for a Rangers season like never before. And get caught up on all the latest info with us. Watch Rangers Insider Season Preview on Fox Sports Southwest and streaming on Fox Sports Go.
Well, 1-0 start to this one, and you take a look at the 3:26 marker. Some of the dimensions in this ballpark, they've all been designed to pay a little homage to some of the all-time greats. In the case of Beltre and Nolan Ryan, maybe the first year of Rangers baseball, 1972. The 10 of Michael Young, the deepest part of the park, 410 out there in left center. Pudge, represented in straightaway center field. First winning season in 1974, with the leadership of Billy Martin and Johnny Oates. Little hat tip to the skipper down that right field line with 3:26 measurement.
A nice job by the Rangers. That was a really good idea. And it's one of those things that if you just came to the ballpark, you may not know. Do a little bit of homework, and you find out that there's significance. And I think especially somebody may come to the ballpark and say, why is that 329 and 334 so close to each other? Well, there's a reason behind it, and a very good one.
Although I would suggest you made a very good point to me this afternoon.
Again?
Sometimes teams have to tweak the dimensions a little bit after a year or two of play in a new ballpark. They find that it plays too big, too small in certain areas. And so they'll just move a fence a little bit. But with those dimensions set, and for those reasons, you're not going to want to monkey with the 407, the 410. No, the 326 isn't going to change anyway down the right field line.
So I wonder in that case, let's just say Joey Gallo seeing some of those fly balls to center kind of die on him a little bit. Should he have to go to Pudge and go to Michael Young and say, hey, can I bring your 410 in? Can I bring your 407 in? And maybe try to cut a deal. Have to ask for permission from the guys that had those dimensions named after them.
You might have to. Tanner Falefa batting ninth tonight, and had the start at third base. And lifts this one in the air out to right field. Blackman ranging back. Plenty of room out there, and he'll take care of it. Well, just because you're not at the ballpark doesn't mean you can't snag a foul ball. This season, play the Choctaw Swipe and Win on the MLB Ballpark app for your chance to get a ball from one of our games. Download the MLB Ballpark app. Cool idea. Also kind of cool to see Chichi out there on the mound for the Rockies. Gonzalez in a pitch here in the third inning against Chu, and he delivers low.
I believe, is he still in competition, right, for a spot on this roster? I don't know if I saw the latest update on whether or not he's earned a spot on this team yet.
Yeah, he's gotten a couple of quick outs in the inning. Good beginning to this audition for him. Yeah, I don't think they have set their rotation. They have it set for the weekend, and of course teams will have some ability to tweak their rotation with off days and whatnot at the beginning of the year. Bud Black, the manager in Colorado, and he wouldn't take the bait earlier this week in a press conference on who would be his starter coming out of the opening series against the Rangers. So the former Ranger, Gonzalez, to the plate and pours that one right in there. 1-1 to Elvis Andrus.
So as you see Elvis go to bunt there is another mystery we heard from Todd Frazier today talking about the ballpark, and the Rangers, especially Chris Woodward, are very reluctant to give up any secrets that they've learned about this ballpark since they've gotten to play here as long as they have. It's a huge advantage to come here and get a real feel for the ballpark leading up to games. So Todd Frazier wouldn't tell us what exactly, but he just mentioned that something different happens on bunts. I don't know what. And of course he's not going to answer that question even if you ask him. And the Rangers did a pretty good job. Ruben Odor 6 bunt hits last year. The idea of bunting against the shift is something that this team will certainly try to take advantage of. Elvis, you saw him square there. So I don't know if he's saying the ball's slower, if they lean one way or the other. Like if you're going to bunt, you can be a little aggressive toward the line or maybe not too aggressive. He wouldn't give it up. So when they go on the road, you and I are going to go out there. You're going to throw me batting practice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Emily will play third, and I'll bunt. You guys, we'll figure it out ourselves.
3-2. And Andrew spoils it. I like the idea, number one, of just going out there and messing around. But I also love the idea. Woody was asked about this week. He feels there's this home field advantage of, their institutional knowledge here of what's going on, and asked about how they would compete these first two games. He said, I just want them to play. There might be a few things I asked them not to do because he doesn't want them to reveal anything they may use in the regular season and more meaningful games. And that might be one of it, right?
Yeah.
When Elvis squares to bunt down toward third, maybe the thought there is that you can feint to bunt, but don't do it. Draw the walk.
There's, it's so different in our sport, but there certainly is a home field advantage. Bounces off the outfield walls. We mentioned it earlier. There will be some unique ones. Another thing Todd Frazier did tell us, he did spill the beans on some ground balls that are fair for third baseman that are barely inside the line. Could actually almost take a very similar bounce like you see at Fenway Park, where if it hits that wall, it could come back toward the infield. And so it's important for the shortstop to actually make sure he's moving in that direction on any ground balls. You see that wall there over to the left, that fence where you see a couple of the Rockies players walking. There could be a ball that's fair and actually kicks back toward the infield. So that will be the responsibility of the shortstop.
1-1 on Danny Santana. Struck out in the first inning. Now a little more room in the outfield, a little more foul territory here than we had across the street. Conditions wildly different. Ooh, bounce pass to the plate, and that one gets away from Walters. So Elvis takes second base on the wild pitch.
Take a look at Walters here, and looked like he might have tried to backhand this instead of going down. He did. Couldn't catch it cleanly, and I think he didn't know where it went after it hit him in the mask and just kind of went forward. He had no idea where that ball went. Whenever you do that and you pick it clean, you look like the greatest catcher in the world. Man, what hands that guy has. When you don't do it, you wonder, why didn't he get down and try to block it?
Instant easy criticism for not just trying to block it. Ground ball down to first. That'll do it. Santana retired. Rangers leave another. Well, we have played three. Kyle Gibson has done a nice job so far through 3 innings. He'll be back for a fourth when we return.
It's almost over. Rangers baseball is back with a season like never before.
That one is gone!
It's Rangers opening day on Fox Sports Southwest.
1-0 Rockies on top as we head to the top of the fourth here at Globe Life Field in Arlington. And we've heard about how this ballpark pays homage to some of the great players that have come through this organization, and 3 of them are on display here on the upper concourse. I'm keeping it up top tonight. Michael Young, number 10, Adrian Beltre, 29, and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, all have life-size bobbleheads here on the upper concourse. Nolan Ryan's got one on the lower concourse first base side. But, you know, kids can come take a picture with these things. I can do something I've always wanted to do.
Oh, I was going to ask you to bobble the head. It does bobble,
the heads bobble, and you can do whatever you want to Adrian Beltre's head. Rub it, and pat it, and whatever. So, yeah, and he can't do anything. He's smiling on the other side. I can't actually turn their heads. I don't want to break anything, but, yeah, so pretty cool. I think this will be a big hit with the kids.
I was going to say, you think that could end up being one of the more sought-after photographs?
I think so. I think so. With the three of them, you know, and I feel like they're pretty to scale. I mean, maybe, you know.
Minus the head part.
Minus that. Minus that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm finding all kinds of neat treasures up here in the upper concourse.
Okay.
And I'm still not scared. So it's kind of a big deal.
And you're up there right now.
I am.
That's a good piece.
I mean, this is pretty much as high as we can get. I feel like I'm the queen of the ballpark at this point.
Let them eat cake.
It is beautiful though, and it's fun to walk around. I can't wait for the fans to be here. Stinks without them.
Yeah, they are missed for sure.
Blackman with a sharp single to start the inning, and now a strike to Nolan Arenado.
And the players would tell you the same thing. Right? I mean, it's just not even the same for them. They're happy to be playing games, no doubt. Happy that we can at least provide some kind of entertainment on television for people to watch at home. But they love when you're here. They're going to be really excited about how loud it will be in here with the roof closed. That certainly will be a home field advantage as well.
So Sam Hilliard, the local kid who's playing left field tonight for the Rockies, who was asked by the media before the ball game today, well, what did you think of the new ballpark? And you know, he hardly had words for it. You know, and they had only witnessed it briefly yesterday. But that was one of his observations. One of the first things I thought is this place is going to be really loud. And right on cue, the fans like that last strike. 1-2 the count.
I'm actually looking forward to being here for a game that I'm not working. Just making my way around when it's open, when it's full, and all the restaurants and all the concessions and all the different opportunities, and checking things out. Knock on the owner's suite, see if I can get in there. Probably not. Give it a whirl.
Good breaking ball. Gibson just missed that outside corner. And 2-2 on Arenado. Well, here's a guy who was in a lot of headlines and a lot of speculation around town. Rangers made very legitimate efforts to try and pry him away from the Rockies. And Arenado sends this one deep out to left. Chu will watch that one fly. A home run for Arenado. A 2-run blast. And Colorado leads 3-0.
It's interesting that he was even a name that would be discussed, right? The idea of just signing that huge extension for Nolan Arenado, but really not liking what he saw, and the idea that the team looked like it might have been going in a different direction, so he at least seemed a little bit open to it. Now this is a changeup. Really nice look at the grip. The location is good, but Nolan Arenado stays right on this pitch. This was a low line drive. We don't have access to our StatCast stuff just yet, but I guarantee this is a pretty low launch angle with some great carry. And what looked like a pretty good pitch down and in from Kyle Gibson.
This ball the other way to left. Chu angling toward the line, and one away. Arenado also celebrating with some of those Phantom fans.
Now, nothing has been official just yet, but we talked about the idea that it does look like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa will be the starting third baseman for the Rangers. Had an Arenado trade gone through, would have never happened.
Right.
I mean, what, you know, now Todd Frazier probably would not have been signed either.
That is also true.
He's been a really nice addition, and what he's meant to the clubhouse and everything else here. I shouldn't say that. They might have looked at him as possibly as a first baseman, maybe. Even though I think they thought they had a shot with Guzman and Greg Bird, and that story's not written, and that's not a definite either just yet. But I got to tell you, Ranger fans should be excited about what they're going to see. And will Isaiah Kiner-Falefa be able to hold up to what he has done this spring and summer? Because you already know defensively he's one of the best this team has. And he's such an easy guy it's a great story. He's an easy guy to root for. He's a coach's favorite kind of player. Just put me wherever you want me to be. I'll give you everything I have, and he does it well. Now, I mean, remember, they were trying to make him a catcher. We went through that whole thing. It was amazing to even watch him try to make that transformation. And now I think there's a pretty good chance he could be the opening day starting third baseman.
Yeah, I think that probability is high, and for the time being, probably going to get a lot of time over there. And so you have the battle between Greg Bird and Ronald Guzman at first base. And because neither of them really just, stepped forward and grabbed it, there was deference given to the fact that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa didn't necessarily have a spot, but was just tearing the cover off the ball. And so you could argue that it's not so much what Greg Bird or Guzman did or didn't do, but it was all about really what that kid did do. And that old thing about, dad's going to pick out a player for son to watch. This is a guy to emulate kind of thing.
No doubt.
I mean, there's never been an easier role model in that sense than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. But this guy, he was not the highest prospect. He was not the chosen one. But he just works hard, keeps his head down, does every single thing you could ask, and then, produces.
What did he tell us 2 years ago? That he hit his first over-the-fence home run the year before? In spring training.
Spring training. First time he'd ever hit a ball over a fence. Ever.
That's a great story for kids who worry about hitting home runs at a young age. Doesn't matter. Learn to hit first. The power will come.
Isaiah went back to Hawaii during the 4-month break, hiatus, whatever interruption. He was hot at spring training, went back to Hawaii, so spent some time on the beach, worked out, and came back and just didn't miss a beat. Look at the numbers in these admitted exhibition games, spring training games. But he's been impressive. Easy play for Chu in left field, and that will end the inning. But a 2-run homer by Arenado as the Rockies on top 3-0. Well, you can see the score, 3-0 Rockies. I was informed between innings. This is when the Rangers will begin playing offense as well. And when you think about this Rangers lineup and you look at the progression the last couple of years, should that trend continue, well, you'd expect a much better year offensively this year, maybe in the neighborhood of 250 home runs, 5.5 runs a game, something like that. Things do appear to be headed in the right direction.
I would agree. Full year of Danny Santana. I think what we've seen from Rougned Odor, spring and summer camps, he's looked really good. I know that we've talked about this in the past with him, but he seems as dialed in as he ever has been. Chris Woodward has talked about that, the work that he's done, what he's committed to, constantly grinding. His consistency could play a big part of what you're talking about. Is there another step in there for this offense? Need to see what we saw from Joey last year. And maybe that's not even fair to say that, right? Because that was MVP level contributions he was making. But something close to that, right? If he really becomes that elite level player in this league, that'll be important. Let's see what he did. 2019, that OPS. Deflected, we're good. The walks were certainly good to see, right? I mean, the patience. It was impressive. It really was. And because I told you this, admittedly, I was like, it's okay. Just, Joey Gallo's never going to be a high average guy. It's okay as long as he's driving the ball. And man, did he change that narrative quickly.
Well, strikeout victim to start the 4th inning. And that'll give way to Rougned Odor. I thought it was interesting today looking at this lineup for the Rangers. Is Santana batting third, a switch hitter. Gallo cleanup from the left side, followed by Odor also from the left side, and Frazier 6th. And I was curious, wouldn't you maybe want to split up the two left-handed hitters.
Yeah.
But it seems as if, and Woody talked about it a little bit today, that no, in fact, he's kind of comfortable with the two batting right next to one another in the lineup, and that they don't fear left-handed pitchers or anything like that. So you may well see Gallo, Odor back-to-back in the regular season.
I thought we would see them split as well. Of course, especially with the new rules that are in the game now, with relief pitchers having to either finish the inning or face a minimum of 3 batters. If you finish the inning, you don't have to do that. But if you come in to start an inning, you have to face 3. And so the idea of maybe separating some of your lefties. Now, it could also be dependent on your opponent. What do they have in their bullpen, right? What kind of lefties do they have down there? I think we're going to see less overall left-handed relievers in the game because of it going forward, which, of course, is tragic in my opinion. But the idea that you will set your lineup maybe a little bit differently now because of that 3-batter minimum is something that we may see. And so for Chris Woodward, at least right now against this Rockies team, he's comfortable having Rougned Odor bat right there with Joey Gallo and Danny Santana. I thought Todd Frazier would be the guy that would split.
For sure.
Gallo and Odor.
But, we have these conversations all the time. But let's be honest. Is there a team in Major League Baseball that has a set lineup that they run out of? That is not a thing anymore.
Nope.
Odor just got a piece.
It's a good point. The way that lineup construction has changed. If you don't have a traditional number 2 hitter, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and bat your best hitter there. We've seen that happen quite a bit. They like Gallo 4th. That was a big part of what Chris Woodward talked about the other day, just giving him as many opportunities to drive in runs.
One, 2. Chopper over the mound. Easy enough play, and 2 gone here in the 4th inning.
So mention those rules, the new rules that are in place here for 2020, that 3-batter minimum. But just how about things are going to go this year? 2020, it's going to be 60 games, 40 within your division, 20 interleague games. Both leagues are using the designated hitter. Now, that is only for this year, but there's a pretty good chance that is going to be part of the future of this game. The extra innings, you begin with a runner at second base. That's going to look a little bit different. We'll have a taxi squad this year. They want to make sure that teams have players with them in case they have an immediate need. Obviously, there's no minor leagues this year, so that'll be a little bit different. And I just wonder, with the changes that are happening in the game, of some of those things that we just showed you, what's going to stick? Well, we know the 3-batter minimum was at least in for this year. I'd kind of predicted before we went through any of this that one might not last.
Up the middle. Base hit for Frazier.
But I wonder, do you think the DH, full-time DH, sooner or later, the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, is up after next season? I think that is something that we may see become a full-time.
It's hard to imagine 10 years from now that we have 2 leagues and one of them has pitchers hitting. Yeah. I just don't see it.
I'm with you.
So unfortunately for me, because I do like it, I've always liked it. I think this is the beginning of the end of that.
It's probably good for the game. There's a handful of pitchers that can hit. We loved seeing those Madison Bumgarner, Clayton Kershaw matchups. The one time Bartolo Colon hit a home run.
Sure.
It was, the gift that will live forever. But pitchers just don't put the ball in play very often. That's a problem in our game. As much as we see strikeouts from regular hitters, I think the pitchers were at like 45% strikeout rate. That is a huge, huge number. And so I'm with you. And I think from a competitive balance standpoint, I've said that all along, there are certain players that National League teams can't compete for in free agency or via trade because they don't have the DH at-bats to give them. There's just more risk involved in taking a chance, say, a few years ago when the Yankees signed Brian McCann. I always use that example. Was there a National League team that really would want to do that, make a 5-year commitment for $85 million for a catcher who's getting older who could really use some DH at-bats? And so I just think that whole idea really plays into it as well.
On the 1-1 pitch, and Chirinos takes just a little bit inside. Yeah, the game is changing, right? I think we have to, and I think we could all easily acknowledge the fact that the game is changing and it's being played differently. And, we all have to let go of certain things now and then. And I think the DH entering the National League is going to be one of those things. And I won't love it when it happens, but I'll get over it.
I like pitchers being able to stay in there as long as they can because they deserve to stay in the game and not having to be removed because their at-bat comes up. What about the extra inning rule?
See, I don't honestly have that big an issue with it. I kind of see under the circumstances why Major League Baseball has instituted that this year. And for fans who are unaware, in extra innings beginning in the 10th inning, each team will start with a runner at second base, nobody out. So the last guy who was retired the previous inning goes out to second base, and off we go. Well, it's going to shorten games dramatically. It's going to accelerate our journey to a conclusion on those nights. And what the heck? It's a slightly different way to play it. It really doesn't grind me that much.
Now, do you think we will see, visiting team doesn't score, how many bunts we start seeing late, especially for the home team? I know the bunt has been something that's disappeared from our game. As far as playing the odds and the most runs scored, well, you only have to score one run. Woody talked about it a little bit. He said, well, it depends on the situation, obviously, and that's absolutely true. Where are you in the lineup? What pitchers are there? Who do you think they may intentionally walk? All of those things will come into play. So there may be a little bit more bunting. I don't think it'll be a lot. We'll probably see a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would only seem natural that there would be some, especially in that situation. But again, doesn't really bother me. It's like people for years have talked about, the art of manufacturing. Where has that gone? Everybody just swinging for the fences. Well, you're going to get it now when you have a tie game that goes to the bottom of a 10th or 11th inning, because that home team, that's going to be the goal. Just generate that one run somehow.
And the run will not be, if that run scores, doesn't go to the pitcher. It's basically as someone reached on an error. So I believe it's an unearned run for the team if that run scores. But the pitcher will still get the loss. And I know wins and losses don't matter as much, and certainly not for relievers. But if you're that guy a lot, if you're the 10th inning guy a lot, that'll weigh on you if you're starting to rack up some L's next to your name. So what do you think the longest game we see then this year because of that? I mean, we're going to see anything past 12 innings?
Probably. There's probably going to be one. But there won't be many, and it won't be much beyond 12 innings. I mean, 13, 14 innings. And you've played in games and broadcast games that have gone really long. I think the longest I've ever broadcast a game has been 18 innings. That's pretty long. Yeah. I mean, it definitely gets pretty long. Yeah. And I'll say this, too. I am a huge fan of extra innings baseball. I love the randomness that, inserts itself into the game, the weird positioning that happens, the managers trying to manipulate the very few players they have remaining. I love it. I think it's crazy weird and just fun. But I don't have a problem with the new rule either. Well, bases loaded all of a sudden after a couple of two-out walks to Chirinos and Solak. And IKF now, who's been the hero in this camp, with a tapper back to the mound, and the Rangers leave him loaded. Yeah. We're knocking on the door there, but still nothing doing. We've played 4 innings tonight. Beautiful Globe Life Field.
When it's game day in Texas, we don't mess around. Nothing beats game day on Fox Sports Southwest.
This time tomorrow, where will we be?
Day trips are better than daydreams. Experience the adventure of a bigger world in a highly capable Lexus SUV. Visit your local Lexus dealer in person or online for exceptional offers at the Golden Opportunity Sales Event.
Lease the 2020 NX 300 for $339 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
How do you make something that's already fresh even fresher? By adding fresh new things, like crisp pico de gallo for a little kick, and creamy cilantro lime sauce for that extra whoa. And 2 slices of pepper jack cheese, because, of course, that's 3 new fresh things on top of 2 fresh beef patties, which all adds up to Whataburger's new limited-time Pico de Gallo burger. Good thing for fresh things. Good thing there's Whataburger.
Let's get rolling, Texas. Roll your sleeves up to give blood. You can help save the lives of patients that depend on blood every day. Fox Sports Southwest has teamed up with the American Red Cross for the Sinclair Cares Roll Up Your Sleeves campaign. If you're in good health, please make an appointment to donate blood. The Red Cross adheres to the highest standards of safety and infection control. Go to SinclairCares.com to schedule your appointment now.
Texas Rangers Exhibition Baseball, tomorrow on Fox Sports Southwest.
Well, 3-0 Rockies as we move it along to the 5th inning. But it's time for you to get your Rangers look in order. Stop by the all-new Grand Slam Team Store inside Globe Life Field. Add some powder blues, some new designs to the wardrobe. Team Store is open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Located just inside the TXU Energy North entry adjacent to Texas Live. There you go. Grand Slam Team Store, and you can access it from inside the ballpark as well in the future. Can't do it now.
So that's on the Texas Live side?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Can you see it from here?
Yeah, the store is straight out in straightaway center field. Grand Slam Team Store.
Yeah, gotcha.
There you go.
Still getting acclimated.
Well, Gibson working in his 5th inning. Falls behind 2-0 on Sam Hilliard. There's a corner call. Kyle Gibson, we talk a lot about Lance Lynn has been such a workhorse in his career. Mike Minor's been great. And, Corey Kluber, those guys don't miss starts. They go out and they get you deep into ball games. Kyle Gibson, he makes 25 or more starts a year every year. And kicks this one toward first, but to no man's land. And Hilliard is aboard.
Now, he has been consistent in the idea of having another starter that you can count on to give you innings is going to make a big difference for the Rangers. You mentioned last year, as we see it there, but 6 straight seasons where he has given his ball club, and for that entire time it was the Minnesota Twins, at least 25 starts. Consistency is key, especially when you take a guy like this. And I think the Rangers are pretty confident that those numbers will be better this year based on kind of some of the things that he went through last year with that higher ERA, and the energy was really low. And they think they've been able to address all of those problems. And Kyle Gibson could be a very big part of this rotation this year.
Yeah, we will no doubt celebrate the Lynn, Minor, Kluber triumvirate, and they are the ones getting the headlines and the praise. But the real heroes at the end of this thing, if the Rangers find themselves battling down the stretch, it really might end up being guys like Kyle Gibson. Settle for the one out here. Walters retired.
And this is why it matters. The Rangers last year, there was a lot of weight on that bullpen. You see it there, 2019. Now, they threw 630 innings. That's the most in franchise history when you go back to 1972. Now, part of that, yes, has to do with the opener and then kind of using that bulk guy. We saw Gerardo do that a few times where he might have thrown 4 or 5 innings, quote unquote, in relief because of the use of the opener. But there's no denying the fact that that Rangers bullpen had to throw a lot last year, and that's why it was a franchise record, and that's why John Daniels and company went out and really beefed up this rotation with the 3 guys that they've added, and the idea of taking some of the pressure off of that bullpen so those guys can also stay in their roles and they can be used most effectively. And they were talking about, Woody threw out the number, and we'll see if they get there as you take a look at John Daniels. 14, he said, maybe, pitchers. There will be teams that will take 16 this year. I don't know if they'll go above that. There's no limits. Originally, there was going to be a limit on how many pitchers you could add to your active roster, but since things have changed with the coronavirus and everything else, Major League Baseball decided to lift that restriction. And the other part of that, of course, is for people that may not have been following this, the season will open with a 30-man active roster. 2 weeks into the season, that'll drop down to 28. And then 2 weeks later, it'll go down to 26, which was the original number that we were supposed to play with this season. but 14 pitchers the Rangers may take.
Now, you say 14 pitchers. You're obviously you're emphasizing that number because you think that is relatively few or a lot?
That's low.
Yeah,
I think in this day and age, if you're going to have obviously your 5-man rotation, and there are some teams that are going to have 6-man rotations early on to kind of take it easy on some of their starters that might not be all the way ready. Talking about a 9-man bullpen.
Ooh, 1-2 pitch. Dahl sends this one out to right, and it is gone. Third home run of the night for the Rockies. Another 2-run shot, and Colorado leads 5-0. Well, it's been a problem tonight for Gibson. A home run to Murphy, a solo shot in the second. Arenado got him for a 2-run shot last inning, and now Dahl.
Tried to go down and in, and he did. Maybe not quite burying it the way that he wanted to. As you see the grip on the slider. But you also see David Dahl doing a nice job of opening up that front hip and getting the head out and getting to that down and in pitch. Small margin for error, especially against left-handers. We talk about them a lot and how good they are. Generally, most are. That kind of power nitro zone is down and in. Well, you bury that a little bit more, and it's probably a swing and miss, and that's what Kyle Gibson was trying to do. You know, he only let up 23 home runs last year. Now, we know Minnesota at one point was considered more of a pitcher's park than it ended up being. We saw the ball flying out of there the last couple of years, but a respectable number for him.
This place is a bandbox. In the air, foul. 1-1.
I don't know if you know this or not. The Rockies only hit home runs at home, or if you've heard that story or not.
Yeah. Well, this guy hits home runs everywhere. One of the just tremendous young players in the game. Well, Gibson's 1-1, and Story holds off. Good miss by a whole lot. That ball squared up and lined into center field. So Story with his first hit of the night. The Rockies have looked pretty sharp offensively tonight.
There'll be a team that will try to make some noise in that National League West, and the lineup certainly is strong enough to hang in there. The Dodgers are heavy favorites in that division. I think the Diamondbacks are a team that is looked at as a potential, let's say, spoiler team, but one that could have a shot maybe at a wild card. The Giants look like they're probably taking a step backwards. The Padres are emerging. I don't know if they're there just yet. The Rockies certainly believe they'll be in the mix. As always, it'll come down to what they get out of that pitching staff.
Yeah, last year was a step backward for the Rockies, and mostly with that pitching staff as Blackman lofts that one into shallow left. 2 away. We start looking at a part of an order for a team, and we talk about lineups not usually being very set. Well, there's a certain set for this Rockies team with Blackman, Story, and Arenado in the heart of the order. You've got just 3 studs, power, average, on base. Only 8 players in the National League hitting better than .290 with 30 homers, 85 RBIs, and 3 of them are in the lineup here.
It's pretty amazing, and I know for Rockies fans it has to be a little bit frustrating not being able to really take advantage of guys in their prime. It's interesting, they made pretty aggressive roster decisions. You know, the bullpen was something that the Rockies invested in a pretty big way a couple of years ago. It's Wade Davis, Jake McGee, Brian Shaw. They just released both Shaw and McGee. McGee has since signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They thought maybe that was the way that they could get there, by buying themselves some relievers, and it just didn't work out.
You'll see Bud Black there on the left. And coaches will be wearing masks in the dugouts all year. That's the expectation. Rule. I mean, it's in the 63-page manual of protocols. The players don't have to wear the masks on the field or on the bases, although we have seen a number of them tonight doing so. 0-2 on Arenado. There's Frazier as an example.
Yeah, I think for him, probably a little bit of a courtesy because you're right there, obviously, with the guys who are at first base, and if you're a talker. Maybe.
And he's a talker.
Yep. What do you got on that hat, by the way?
Oh yeah, might be looking at the state flag, kind of artistically represented there. Fly ball left field. Long run for Chu, but he's right there for it. So the inning is done, but 2 more for the Rockies as they are playing home run derby here tonight and have the 5-0 lead.
This cheeseburger is the best.
It's about to get besta, baby. Menu time. Make it a double. Yeah. Nice main.
Try my $4.99 Southwest Cheddar Cheeseburger Combo and make it a double for $1 more. Order now with no contact delivery.
The Texas Rangers remind you to act now to help contain and limit the spread of COVID-19.
Avoid touching your face. And for sure, do not try to touch someone's head.
Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for 20 seconds.
Cough or sneeze in the tissue and throw it away.
Be sure and disinfect frequently touched objects.
Stay at home, but if you need to go out, make sure you stand 6 feet away from others.
Ranger fans, we can beat this, but we all must play on the same team right now.
Get a load of my Southwest Cheddar Cheeseburger.
Let Menu Talk make it a double. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Say what?
I said it's beautiful. Try my $4.99 Southwest Cheddar Cheeseburger Combo and make it a double for $1 more. Order now with no contact delivery.
Let's take you back to the first inning as we get a look at some StatCast data here, powered by Google Cloud. See the home run here from David Dahl. Nearly 102 miles an hour was that exit velocity, and a projected distance of 393 feet. Dave, that's our first projected distance. I know last year you were a little iffy on whether or not the accuracy was there with new system in place here. It's called Hawkeye.
And so we feel a lot more confident, right? It's apparently a good piece more accurate.
I think so. It's certainly a more aggressive name.
Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Keep
Sounds
waiting
kinda,
for the MASH theme
sounds
song
pretty
to
awesome.
drop in the background.
I'd like to have an opportunity to maybe do one of those on a Rangers home run here tonight.
That would be nice.
And too many to choose from the Rockies.
Top of the order here with the 5th inning. Chu, Andrews, Santana. Rangers with 2 hits tonight. Andrews had one. Frazier with a single as well. Oh, 0-2 the count. Jeff Hoffman, the new pitcher for the Rockies. So they are working through a number of different pitchers in this one tonight. Again, not an official ball game. These are the 2 games really that we'd anticipated playing against the St. Louis Cardinals coming out of spring training. Great effort by Arenado at third base. Well, that'll be a base hit for Chu. 3rd hit of the night for the Rangers.
We know that Arenado's got pretty unbelievable range as a third baseman, one of the best defensive third basemen that we have seen certainly of this generation. But if you absolutely had to put him over at short, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. And that's a nice job by Chu. You saw the run on that two-seamer. They were trying to go front door, meaning inside. That ball finished up and away. He does a nice job of slapping it hard to the left side. But Nolan Arenado almost came up with that ball. We know he's got the arm. Fortunately for the Rangers, he just missed it.
So Scott Heineman gets in the game as a pinch runner here. Chu will be done for the night. A strike right in there to Elvis. Elvis had the base hit in the first inning. And then walked last time up. So who's going to get the first base hit in this ballpark's history? You know, not official base hit, right?
Official base hit.
Official base hit.
I thought you said not official.
No.
It has to be, you said first Ranger or first hit?
Well, first player.
Well, I mean, just went through that lineup, how strong they are. They get their first shot.
Yeah, they'll have to face Lance Lynn.
That's a good point. Lance Lynn's not going to allow that to happen. No chance. I'll go Elvis Andrews. Batting second. Chu walk, Andrews double.
That sounds like that. Hey, nice job, Lance.
That's definitely way more full than it was.
Yes.
Last year.
Yep. Put in some significant work on that thing. So he'll have the opening day start, Lance Lynn, the first of his career. Woody pointed out today that he didn't realize that when he named him the opening day starter. He didn't assume anything, but he was unaware that it would be the first in Lynn's career. And Lynn will have the distinction of having started the last game across the street at Globe Life Park, and in the honor of opening the new park here, Globe Life Field, is the opening day starter. So kind of a fun tie into the history of this franchise and those two ballparks for Lynn. I'm sure if one of us told him that, he would have had no idea and probably wouldn't care that much. But except from the fact that he does respect, you know, what it means about his game, that he's been a good pitcher. The 2-2. Smash down to third. Arenado right there with a good pick to second one. And the easy double play around the horn. I'll bring up Danny Santana. I don't know if we'll see more of that, by the way, with the infield playing maybe a little quicker than a grass infield would. We may just see an increase in double plays overall.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I guess we can run those numbers. But even to do it over a course of what is going to be a 60-game season or 30 games that are played here, probably won't give us a real good read. Because remember, they're also going to be faster. So does that mean more ground balls are going to get through? Think about guys that hit more ground balls on this team, like Elvis, like Chu. Are they going to see that batting average on the ground balls go up a little bit because some of those will be getting through a little bit quicker? Obviously, you're dealing with the artificial surface. The dirt is still the same. It's going to take some time. I mean, sometimes, like we said, even using Minnesota as an example, you think you have a feel in a ballpark, and then within a couple of years, things can change dramatically. So it'll take a little bit of time.
Well, Danny Santana hitless in a couple of tries tonight. A strikeout and a ground out. And Hoffman's 0-2. That one smashed by third, and this one through. So Danny's first hit of the game.
Nice job here by Danny Santana to be real short to the ball. Watch it here and just punch this thing to the left side. And the shift was on. Nolan Arenado shaded towards second base. Danny lets that ball travel a little bit. Gets himself a nice hard ground ball to the left side. That was a good look right there on the way that ball rolled into left field. Something else that the players have said about the surface that they really like is that the ball does not snake. And that happens not only on artificial turf, But it also happens on regular grass. The way that the big league grass is cut so nice and short is that if you were to roll a ball into the outfield, especially with a little velocity behind it, it's going to have a little snake effect to it where it goes back and forth. But guys have said that this surface here has played really true, which has been a nice benefit. You have an outfield that snakes. You have to be very careful in how aggressive you go after a ground ball or one that's got a little bit of bounce to it, not too much off the ground, and making sure you don't get some of that sideways bounce. And that's something that visiting teams will learn as they come here. But so far, that's what Rangers outfielders are telling us.
Gallo up there now with 2 outs. Leody Taveras, the pinch runner at first. And it's 1-1 on Gallo. There's Leody, just 21 years old. A guy with outstanding speed. And the Rangers still very seriously considering him for the opening day roster, in large part because of that speed. Good defensive outfielder as well. 2-1 now the count on Gallo.
Yeah, why not? Again, with the roster going to be set at 30 for opening day, at least for the first couple of weeks, that's the kind of player that you keep, right? Somebody that you can use as a pinch runner that can steal you a base, maybe a defensive replacement if you need to in the outfield.
Well, I don't know that you meant that as a sincere question when you said, and why not? I'm sure that was.
Oh, wait a minute.
Holy moly. Foul ball coming our way?
You said,
wow.
You said, I heard you say the other day.
Yeah. Didn't think there was a chance we would get a foul ball back in. But that was close enough. We could get one.
Now, I would say it's, I guess even when it comes to foul balls, right? Joey Gallo hits his foul balls farther than everybody else. Certainly higher. No? You're not buying that?
No, I think so. I think he does everything a little bit more extreme than anybody else. Come on, hit me one, Joey. 2-2. Off the plate. Anyway, when you said why not with Leody Taveras, well, the answer to that question is that, you know, the one concern a person might have would be starting the clock, so to speak, on a guy for arbitration, free agency, etc. But John Daniels has never been the kind of general manager who has let that sort of thing interfere with building the team to win. Runner goes, and there's a swing and a miss, and Gallo strikes out. That might be the type of thing we talk about later. Emily Jones, so comfortable and relaxed. I'd be interested to know what's going on up there.
Where's your friends?
We've always seen challenges as opportunities to get better. That's why we're constantly evolving to provide the best care possible, empowering thousands to move better, to become families, and to never give up. Whenever you need us, we'll be ready, because nothing has ever stopped us from getting you back to better, and nothing ever will.
Things are gonna change. We gotta embrace it with open arms.
You ready?
This is bigger than me. I'm trying to build a legacy. Look at Kale trying to get him some game. I've been had game, man. Both y'all need to get saved.
What will be the first thing you do as soon as you're able? At IKEA, we wondered that too. We found that people didn't say catching a new movie or going on a trip. It was to simply be with loved ones. Having that first hug, sharing that first meal together, and showing off the good news. We know you can't wait to welcome people back into your home, and neither can we. Let's get ready for what's next.
The wait is almost over. Rangers baseball is back with a season like never before.
That one is gone!
It's Rangers opening day on Fox Sports Southwest.
Top 6, Rangers trailing the Rockies 5-0. Jesse Chavez on the mound in relief. And my tour of the upper concourse of the brand new Globe Life Field continues. And this is a little more my speed. A rocking chair outside the Carbach Sky Porch, and inside you can get some barbecue, some specialty adult beverages, neither of which they're serving at this point in time, or I would be taking advantage of that. But when this opens to fans, you can get your little barbecue, grab you a coldie, and come out here in the rocking chair. You're right down the right field, the third base line, and, just take in the game. Pretty good seats. You can't quite see the left fielder, but other than that, things are pretty good out here, especially the rocking part.
I was going to say, it looks pretty cozy.
Something so soothing about being in a rocking chair in an empty ballpark watching an exhibition baseball game.
A pop up out into short right field. One away. Hey, good to see Jesse Chavez back out there. So he checks in here in the 6th inning.
We'll go ahead and take a look at the TXU arsenal here for Jesse Chavez. That pitch arsenal, the two-seam fastball. He's another guy where the arsenal really does run deep. Cutter, slider, changeup. You'll see the four-seamer once in a while from Jesse Chavez. Of course, he signed a 2-year deal with the Rangers last year. Missed a little bit of time, some injury, and it was nagging him even earlier in spring. But he seems to have worked through all of that, and good to see him back out there and healthy. He will be a very big part of what's going on here with the Rangers in that bullpen. They expect to contend. And when that's the case, that means Jesse Chavez is going to have to take on some pretty big innings.
Jesse likes to wear the white framed glasses when he's at home.
So you're getting a really good look right at some corner pitches right here from Jesse Chavez that ended up just missing. That's another, I think, a real good advantage from this camera view that you get from center field. You can see those corners a lot better. The only thing that'll get a little bit distorted might be the north to south, just a little bit, not very much. But it's, to me, this the payoff that I take all day long. I love watching this view.
So how would it get distorted? So
just
if it's up in the zone,
more, I think the balls that are down. Sometimes it might look just. I say minimal compared to. I went back and looked at our angle from last year. It was amazing to me how offset it seemed. Like you just get used to watching a game a certain way from that same camera position. But then when you watch this and then go back and watch and see the old one, it looks like it's really far off. And then you could see why that side to side could get a little bit distorted watching games. Yeah, Jesse had a good argument on that pitch.
Yeah, that was pretty close. That was right on the edge. Obviously wanted that one. And by the way, new home plate umpire Jordan Baker is now behind the plate. Lance Barksdale started the game behind the plate.
And of course, that's Trevino's out of the game, right? Is that Trevino back there now?
I think that is Trevino. Yep. There's Jose.
There he is. Does a really nice job back there as well. But he made that pitch look really good. Now you always have the thing too. Like there's a good example of one that's right on the corner. That usually you're not going to move if you know it's a strike. Right, if you see the catcher move and try to do his job receiving really well, framing that pitch up, a little bit of movement or too much movement sometimes will tell the umpire that pitch is a ball. If you're sticking it and don't move as much, then you know it's a strike.
Flair out there to left. Heineman up with the ball. And so Tapia is on. Well, that's a good time for a Chevy game break. Let's go to Cincinnati, where the Detroit Tigers flexing their muscles a little bit. Jonathan Scope goes yard in the 2nd inning. Back-to-back homers for the Tigers. Made it 5-0 early, but the Reds would go on and win the game 9-7. There aren't many teams that you could say are absolutely or strongly at a disadvantage coming into the season. Right, it's such a weird year with a 60-game schedule. We've all talked about it quite a little bit and run some numbers, thought about how these things could play out. Really, every team, certainly for the first couple of weeks, will feel like they have a great shot at being a spoiler or, just achieving what maybe they had planned to begin with. I think one of the teams, though, you would perhaps be less enthusiastic about in that regard would be the Detroit Tigers.
I would agree. I think the Tigers, the Orioles, probably not contenders. I think there are some surprise teams. The Royals probably not contenders. But I do believe that some of those bubble teams maybe coming into what would have been a 162-game season can now dream a little bit about the possibility of finding themselves in contention at the end of the year. I put the Chicago White Sox in that category. Possibility, if they can find a place to play, maybe the Blue Jays. Currently without a home. Sounds like they might play in Pittsburgh. The Canadian government shut them down as far as playing major league games. They were approved locally to play.
Yeah. I was intrigued initially when that news came out that they would actually get to play in Canada, because it seemed early on the indications from our friends up north was that they had no intent of letting that happen, and ultimately that ends up being the case. Chavez gets the call that time on the outside corner. Strike 3 called on Sam Hilliard.
Take a look at this pitch and the work from Jose Trevino, and he didn't have much to do. That was a pretty good pitch. Now, our pitch cast had it maybe down. And that's why I said, and you watch that one there, it might not have looked as down. I don't know if that was down or not, but you see Jose bring it up just a little bit. Those catchers are taught to go down, bring the ball up. You don't want to go up and bring it down. That's not going to look very good to an umpire. He presented that pitch really well.
Walters flares that one off for a foul ball. But you have to be a little careful, right? I mean, I feel like the whole idea of pitch framing has almost turned negative to the point where if a guy does move that glove around a little much, he might draw the ire of the plate umpire.
No doubt. Quiet hands, soft hands, little movement, trying to go unnoticed. You know, not the old Little League style where the pitch is a foot outside and you bring it all the way back to the middle. That is not going to work at the big league level. But it has become an art form. That's why I hope we never go to that automated strike zone, because then you can just go ahead and take that all away. All this work that these guys have done would be wiped away.
A little bit in there. So we last week decided we would do kind of a really sketch effort broadcasting maybe some inter-squad games, or what turned out to be a live batting practice. And the balls and strikes were contested by the Hawkeye system. And there were definitely some calls where one was left wondering how in the world would that go over in real life. And you can't imagine very well. Well, Chavez works around a couple of base runners in the 6th inning. Time running short on the Rangers. They trail 5-0.
America, we want to help get you back to it. And here's how. With the Ford Promise. Visit your Ford dealer. Finance a new, certified pre-owned or used vehicle through Ford Credit. And if you lose your job, you can return it for up to 1 year from the day you bought it. You can also get 0% APR financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Let us help get you back to it. Get 0% APR for 72 months on a new F-150 at your Texas Ford dealer. Ford, built for Texas, built for you.
We believe everyone deserves better care, and getting that care is more important than ever. Right now, we're making thousands feel like new again, inspiring hope and courage, and empowering you to do what you couldn't do yesterday. Whenever you need us, we'll be ready, because nothing has ever stopped us from getting you back to better, and nothing ever will.
Welcome to Globe Life Field. Get a behind-the-scenes look at the new home to the Texas Rangers. Watch Welcome to Globe Life Field on Fox Sports Southwest and streaming on Fox Sports Go.
Let's get rolling, Texas. Roll your sleeves up to give blood. You can help save the lives of patients that depend on blood every day. Fox Sports Southwest has teamed up with the American Red Cross for the Sinclair Cares Roll Up Your Sleeves campaign. If you're in good health, please make an appointment to donate blood. The Red Cross adheres to the highest standards of safety and infection control. Go to SinclairCares.com to schedule your appointment now.
Well, the Rockies so far have spoiled the fun for the Rangers in this first exhibition game at Globe Life Field, but it is a treat to be inside here, and Rangers fans you're not limited just exclusively to watching these games from home. You can bring a piece of the game to your home. You can game-used baseballs, gear, or autographed photos and jerseys by visiting TexasRangers.com/authentics and, picking through some of the stuff, finding something that might make sense for you. Kind of a fun idea as we get going here, bottom of the 6th. Rangers offense been pretty quiet so far tonight. They have stranded 7 base runners, though, which means they've had some opportunities. They just haven't cashed them in. Odor pops this one way up in the air on the right side of the infield. Oh, there's one away. How about a quick moment now to hear from Kia?
Come on, America. Let's road trip. Trade up to a new Kia.
All right, well, the Todd father, Todd Frazier, 1 for 2 with an out here in the 6th inning. Wait, were you doing? You were working with us right back when the All-Star game was in Cincinnati a few years ago with MLB Advanced Media. Were you there in Cincinnati for that All-Star game?
Nope. I've only had to work one All-Star game. It was in Minnesota.
Only had to.
I mean, I've only been blessed with the opportunity to work one All-Star game.
They can be grueling. There's no doubt. But that was the one where Frazier in the home run derby stole the show in his home park. Great, really one of the better home run derbies, and such a great time. And that was one of his 2 All-Star appearances, kind of at the peak of his popularity, and that whole Todd father thing was really taken off. And at the Fan Fest, I was working a little area, and I ran into his dad, the actual Todd father. Ground ball to third, and Frazier is the second out of the inning.
Is that what you called him?
I did. I said, wait a minute. So the reality is you are the Todd father. I said, yeah, I am. Great guy, great family, and outgoing as Todd is a delight to be around. He's a lot of fun, enjoys being with the guys, playing the game, and man, he had a little media session today via the internet, and it just seemed like he had that extra cup of coffee today.
Yeah, he was in a good mood. I think the idea that the season is getting closer, probably part of that for him. He's liking his teammates, liking the ballpark, and loves the game.
Trevino's first at bat tonight. Hoffman pushes him back just a little bit.
And the guys here absolutely love him. I mean, it did not take long at all for him to fit into this clubhouse. It's just part of the personality with Todd Frazier, no matter where he goes. And it seems like what we heard from Joey Gallo really early on, how almost instantly he became one of his favorite Ranger teammates.
Yeah. Well, 2 balls and a strike on Trevino, and Jose in a position this season you figure to get a lot of time, and Chirinos would be the frontline catcher. Jose and Jeff Mathis kind of battling it out for who might be the primary backup in that case, and I think they may start the year with 3 catchers on the roster. Full count now on Jose.
Again, you have a 30-man roster. You have the opportunity to do that, to go ahead and carry your extra catcher. We mentioned that there will be that 3-man taxi squad that travels with the team but is not active. One of those players has to be a catcher as well. So I guess even if you have 3, still have to carry that 4th catcher on the road.
Yeah, and that's where it does get a little goofy there, right? Because I mean, then essentially you're carrying 4 on those road trips, and that seems excessive. A lot to work through for Chris Woodward, chatting right now with his bench coach, Don Wakamatsu. Payoff pitch, and that's outside. The other thing for Trevino is Remember, he had the hairline fracture at spring training, suffered in late February, that was basically going to push him into the season before he'd be ready to be productive or be a part of anything. He had a ball hit him on the knuckle of his right hand, his right index finger. So with the time off, had a chance for that to heal completely, and has looked good in this second spring training or summer camp, whatever you want to call it. Solak's 0 for 1 with a walk. Batting 8th today as the designated hitter. Were you at all surprised that Solak would be the DH today and Chu would get to start in the left?
A little bit. Because it feels like once the season comes that we would see Chu as the DH more often, Nick Solak in left. He started out in camp learning some center field, then we saw him over at first base. Now it's interesting that it seems like they've gotten away from the first base part. We haven't heard as much. And I say camp meaning the summer camp. There was some time spent there and looking like maybe that was going to be the position. But again, the Isaiah kind of Falefa factor just kind of changed it up a little bit. Frazier goes over to first, Solak goes to left. But then once Willie Calhoun comes back, how do you work that? Is there going to be some platoon play potentially?
Well, and I think even more than Isaiah Falefa, I thought it was really more a function of the Willie Calhoun injury. That now, you legitimately needed somebody to take that position, and so it was a kind of a default move to say, well, great, we need a spot to put Nick and make sure we get him in the lineup every day. And so, yeah, he'll be sort of the left fielder, but we may see Willie Calhoun come back pretty quickly. That's the hope. Off the plate, evens things up at 2-2 now on Solak. So Jeff Hoffman now in his second inning of work for the Rockies. Made 15 starts last year for Colorado. In the span of 5 different stints with the big club. He was up and down a lot last year, but got in basically the equivalent of half a season of starts. 2-2. And this one lined out toward right center field. A lot of ground to cover out there. Trevino got a good start. And Beasley will wave him around third base. Here comes the throw to the plate. Trevino into the slide, but they got him. And the inning is done. Well, that's the closest the Rangers have come to scoring a run, but maybe a little too bold right there for Trevino. Inning over. We head to the 7th, 5-0.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, after a historic and extended delay, your patience is rewarded. And it's my pleasure to tell you, it is baseball time in Texas.
For my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York.
Sometimes you run out of fresh at the wrong time. Luckily, Kroger Delivery and free pickup make it easy to grab what you need, so you can get back to being you. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
America, we want to help get you back to it. And here's how with the Ford Promise. Visit your Ford dealer. Finance a new, certified pre-owned or used vehicle through Ford Credit. And if you lose your job, you can return it for up to 1 year from the day you bought it. You can also get 0% APR financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Let us help get you back to it. Get 0% APR for 72 months on a new F-150 at your Texas Ford dealer. Ford, built for Texas, built for you.
Get ready for a Rangers season like never before. And get caught up on all the latest info with us. Watch Rangers Insider Season Preview on Fox Sports Southwest and streaming on Fox Sports Go.
Time now for our Baylor Scott Whitehealth game diagnosis, and it has been a game of long balls, but not for the Texas Rangers. It's been the Colorado Rockies. 3 home runs for them this evening in this ball game. You see Nolan Arenado hitting that line shot out to left. And then this ball is hit to deep right field. We told you that this ballpark may not be one of many home runs, but the Colorado Rockies proving us wrong so far. 3 home runs for them has led to 5 runs as they lead at 5-0 here. In the top of the 7th inning, you see the Rangers 5 hits, but no runs across the board. They did try to score one in that last inning after the Nick Solak double in the gap, but Jose Trevino was thrown out by a pretty decent amount at home plate. Nick Goody now comes on for the Texas Rangers. You see the numbers he had last year with the Cleveland Indians. It was a good year, and surprisingly for me, Dave, that he was a waiver claim. That the Indians kind of moved on from Nick Goody. You saw the low batting average, good strikeout to walk ratio. This looks like it's going to be a pretty good pickup for the Texas Rangers as they add this right-handed arm to the bullpen.
It's amazing when you think of the Indians bullpen for the last several years and how much success they enjoyed from that bullpen and how quickly and dramatically it was dismantled, really. And I'm with you. I think Goody will be a really nice pickup and great addition to this bullpen. And we were talking earlier about personalities, guys like Todd Frazier and how he's fit in. Nick Goody's one of those guys I think you can throw in the middle of pretty much any clubhouse, and he's going to be an immediate fit. An outgoing, fun guy, and he gets a line drive out there to second base, snared for the first out of the inning. Banez now at second base is I did notice last inning all the outfield was brand new.
A good swing here from David Dahl, but as you mentioned, nice play there from Ibanez. Not quite full extension, but certainly a good play.
A pretty good chance that Andy Ibanez is a guy who breaks camp with the club, versatile infielder. Good, he fires that one right in there for a strike. Breaking ball, and that one's in there for a strike as well.
So for Nick Goody, very simple 2-pitch mix that he has. It's a 4-seam fastball that averaged 93 miles an hour last year. He's got the slider, and it was a good one for him. Just a 137 batting average against the slider from Nick Goody last season.
Matt Kemp batting here and takes one low, and Kemp, it'll be fun for Rockies fans, no doubt, to see him playing this year in their purple and black, because over the years while with the Dodgers, he dealt the Rockies fits. I mean, he was maybe as big a pest as Rockies fans have ever had to deal with over the years. So they're very happy to see him no longer as an opponent, but in their own uniform. And he takes strike 3 called. Goody with 2 quick outs to begin the 7th.
I mentioned that slider and how good it was for him. Not only did he have good numbers, but he had really dominating numbers against righties. Just a 121 batting average against. You'll see some horizontal movement. I think that's a good example you were just talking about. I think this pitch is a strike no matter what, but watch Jose Trevino. A little bit of movement at the end as well. But Matt Kemp knew it. Good pitch from Nick Goody.
All right, so Charlie Blackmon in for a 4th time tonight. Rockies traveled yesterday from Denver. Got in early evening. And they're going to kind of really settle in here. These exhibitions, Thursday and off day. Then the 3-game series, opening day Friday. Blackmon in the air out to left. And a quiet 1-2-3 half inning for the Rockies. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa heading in quickly. Grab those batting gloves. You're leading off, kid. When we come back, Rangers down 5-0.
Welcome into the Fox Sports Southwest studio. I'm Katie Engelson. Time now for tonight's Legend of the Game, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. For every legendary moment, you always remember who was with you. Blue Cross is proud to stand with our communities and all the local heroes who make these moments possible through it all. Tonight's legend of the game is Nolan Ryan. He joined the Rangers prior to the 1989 season, and that summer, the flamethrower crossed a special plateau.
Strikeout number 5,000.
The following season, he earned win number 300 and notched no-no number 6. In May of '91, the 44-year-old was back at it again. The Ryan Express finally came to a halt in 1993 after an incredible 27 seasons. Cooperstown was the next stop, and he entered the Hall of Fame wearing a Rangers cap. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, your biggest hometown fan, standing with you through it all.
People will always come and go in our lives, but we all know those few who never left. The partners who've always had you covered. That friend you consider the best, because that's how they make you feel.